Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London, and today I'm looking at a book which has come to us from LexisNexis Family Law imprint. It's an important book, I think, for anybody like myself who's a practitioner at the family law bar. It's called Family Law Leaves the European Union, a summary guide for practitioners, and it's been written and put together very quickly, in fact, by Professor David Hodson OBE, and there's a specialist contribution on public child law from Maria Murphy. Now, I looked at this book, discussed it with Elizabeth, and we obviously write and co-wrote all the reviews, but in this case I've been the lead writer, and I've given it a title for the book review. It's a short review, a welcome statement on where family law will stand in 2021. Now, obviously there are some assumptions. I'm recording this in December prior to us leaving on the 31st of December 2020 from the European Union. So I've made some assumptions, but it is my view that this is a very useful guide to give us some insight as to where we might be going in the future. Let's look at the book first of all. There's the front cover. It's a paperback. There's the spine, and then there's the back. You probably can't see too much from the back. The book runs to 200 pages. There's a nice index at the back, very much the house style of LexisNexis Family Law. It's by paragraph numbering, so you should be able to find things pretty easily. There's a front page there. Then there's the main front page, which you can see there. I'll just hold it back a little bit. And it's got a little rider. It says, while every care has been taken to ensure the accuracy of this work, no responsibility for loss or damage occasioned to any person acting or refraining from action as a result of any statement in it can be accepted by the authors, editors or publishers. So there you have it, just in case you're worried. Now there's the blurb about the book. Then there's a dedication, and I want to read that too, because this is dedicated to Professor Hodson's father, Norman Hodson, 1926 to 2020, who died aged 94, a couple of days after celebrating VE, that's Victory in Europe Day, when we remembered what happened in that anniversary concerning the defeat of Germany, who caused and started World War II. And it then is a nice dedication to Professor Hodson's father. And I say that because we only ever review books that we think are important. This one is. There's no point in reviewing a book and all the work someone's put into it if you're going to sneer and criticise. I'm not. This is a very substantial work and extremely helpful. That's the index, which sets out what's in the book. Obviously a dedication and various tables, and then various chapters. There aren't a large number of chapters, but obviously it looks at the main headings that you'll be interested in. I think probably some of the important ones are the Hague Convention, certainly the Lugano Convention, private children matters, and the total number of chapters, actually 13, with 3 appendices at the back, including statutory material. Then you've got a table of abbreviations, and after that, more abbreviations. Very helpful they are too. Then statutes. Then after the statutes, statutory instruments. Then of course the European legislation, which is of course very important to us. And in fact it's broken down quite nicely with the statutory instruments on the side there. And then tables of international legislation. And then of course after that you've got the tables of cases. Then we go into the book itself with an introduction which starts, and I'm going to talk about it again in a minute. He talks right at the beginning about what happened when the referendum, which is actually 4.5 years ago, took place, and the result. And then right at the back of the book, as I say, you've got some various appendices, and then you've got the index, which is by paragraph numbering. You can see the paragraph numbering at the sides there. They're not emboldened, but they are relatively easy to see, excuse me. And you've also got footnotes, which are extremely helpful. So what do I say in relatively short form about the book? Well, this. It's a new guide from Family Law, which is the imprint now of LexisNexis. It obviously has changed. It was Jordan's some time back now, but now LexisNexis have taken over the family law imprint, which is a great help and boon to us as practitioners. And this book, I think, is most welcome at a time when so much confusion still reigns in the world caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the day I'm recording this is the day that the vaccine has rolled out in Britain, and that means that I think we're at a turning point on the 8th of December. Because any practitioner who is faced with trying to understand what we're facing at the moment in terms of family law matters upon leaving the European Union on the last day of 2020 will be, I think, relieved to read this sort of work from Professor David Hodson, and it's a tribute that they got it out so quickly. The point that I really do wish to emphasise is it's a short book, it's easy to read, and it should have what you're looking for when it comes to any particular concerns you may have as we start looking at our 2021 diaries, and basically most of them are telephone or CVP, cloud video platform hearings at the moment, with very few face-to-face hearings taking place. That will probably remain certainly until after Easter. And we feel, of course, that this book is relevant to all family law practitioners as a short, accessible guide to the law and practice which is going to apply on the United Kingdom's final departure from the European Union on the 31st of December 2020. Now, we're calling, obviously, all sorts of different words are being called. At the time of writing, we do not know whether an agreement or no deal agreement is going to be the end result at the end of December. That's not particularly relevant, because what is more important is what are we doing with family law as a jurisdiction from the 1st of January next year. The government has indicated that the United Kingdom will not be party to any further European Union laws. Instead, it is relying on existing international laws such as the Hague Conventions, which form, of course, for people like myself, a very large an important, particular document and series of documents about how we deal certainly with children. And of course it's to that end that we thank certainly David Hodson for producing this, because we are, of course, as an independent state from the 1st of January, going to be a party in our own right to international laws, which will be different from the position we currently enjoy, or not enjoy as some people would think, under our membership of the EU, which is basically coming to a slow end. There will, of course, be new provisions in national law where previously European Union law has existed, and some court procedures will, of course, change. At the moment, we're not quite sure exactly what will happen, because one of the problems with the pandemic has been the chaos within the court system. However, I think this is actually an invaluable title, which will provide an overview of the legal position and the practical issues which will arise in all areas of family law, including the preparatory steps which lawyers should take in readiness for departure. And so I think really it's a very useful book which will help you when you come to advise clients effectively about the future. Although it hasn't, I have to say, arisen that much for me, because I think the real problems could well start surfacing in 2021 onwards. Now, the key topics which are covered in this paperback are substantive law issues, and it depends on what you're really looking for, because you've got the governing laws themselves, you've got divorce, financial aspects, the Hague Convention, the Lugano Convention, private children law, public children law, domestic violence, service and taking of evidence, alternative dispute resolution and legal aid, and what we've got of it at the moment, and potential areas for conflict or cooperation between the European Union and the United Kingdom. I like to look at it as potential future cooperation, which will be based, of course, on the conventions. So to end with how David Hodson started the book. When we woke up fairly early in the morning of Friday the 24th of June 2016, I remember it well, we looked at a most uncertain future. I, for one, like many I think, was pretty surprised by the result, because I thought we would actually stay in. Hodson's family law leaves the the EU therefore bridges what I think is an important gap, because we're going to grapple with the post-Brexit era whilst still fighting a world pandemic which will not be over shortly. Now, obviously, those are two very big issues which the Johnson government has to face before we have another election, probably in 2023 or 2024. In the meantime, I'd like to thank all the people involved in bringing this book together very quickly, especially the people at LexisNexis and Family Law, because they give us an invaluable service which I'm grateful for. The date of publication of the paperback is cited as at the 20th of October. As I say, I'm recording this prior to Christmas and the end of 2020. Thank you very much, and again a great deal of thanks go to the people who've produced this. Bye-bye.